Hi everyone, it's Booney. I know I disappeared for a little bit, and I probably was going to do that. That's my pattern, or inconsistent pattern. I wanted to talk today about a couple things, and I guess this first video will be about being an extroverted intuitive growing up, and it might overlap with giftedness for a little bit, or um, what someone might, I guess, label or call having ADHD. Um, it's it's an interesting observation because this way of learning and this way of perceiving information and being is all I really know. I don't know any other way of thinking or processing information. So when you have conversations with people over time and you realize that not everyone thinks like you, it starts bringing about more thoughts and more questions of what their perceptions of things are. How are they experiencing the world? And how do they see you as a person? And how do you see yourself when you have this new information of how other people perceive you? And the one thing that I was thinking about, or a couple of things I was thinking about, is in terms of accumulating data, and perhaps when you're young, there might be this rigid list of things you're supposed to do to get done in order to appear quote unquote accomplished, or some form to exhibit some form of competence for your age or some developmental milestone. And when you learn differently, people get frustrated. When you learn differently, other people might try and peg you and push you into this box. You, of course, do not fit into this box or this hole, and it makes you question your competence. It makes you question if you're really intelligent or not. But these numbers or whatever, you got tested somehow, and people started telling you you're profoundly gifted or you're intelligent for your age or you're mature in certain aspects, but then you cannot meet these obligations or these parameters somehow. Like, but you're so smart. How come you can't get this stuff done? Like, why can't you just focus and finish these assignments, or why can't you just learn and get it done? Why can't you just check these things off the list? And as someone who has been called scatterbrained and off in la la land often, I just wanted to share that I empathize with your struggles. I have compassion for what you may have gone through or currently go through. Um, I don't really have any solutions for what you're experiencing. I just have my words to share that I feel like it can be normal for many of us who think extremely divergently. For those who have ideas that bounce from A to B all the way to Z and then plus 100 more thoughts because this one idea or this word sparked your interest, and then you got into brainstorm mode and wanted to think about every other project and thing that could connect to it, or your goal with ideas and thoughts is to connect things and kind of like form things into something novel. So you have this pre-existing condition, this or idea or concept, and these more pre-existing thoughts. And when you somehow learn enough information, you have this aha moment. They're all connected now. And that is kind of what drives you as a person or as a thinker. You like novelty, you like combining things into new ways because that's refreshing, it energizes you. But other people may not see that, or other people get impatient, and other people might think like, why do you always have to think like this? Like, and there is no why really, or there's no reason. It's just it is how your brain works. It is what drives you to function as a human being. You just have this endless thirst for knowledge, and even the way you learn is not linear. And that's the thing that can drive people in your life who are more structured. It can drive them up a wall because they're impatient, they're concerned about your progress. They're concerned about a lot of things about you. They care. And it's frustrating to watch because there's high correlations of having imposter syndrome, questioning your competence, and perfectionism. If it's not perfect, you can't do it. If it's not perfect, you're paralyzed to start the project. You're paralyzed to continue the project. You're paralyzed to finish the project because it's not perfect. Because in your head, you can conceptualize how perfect a thing can possibly be. It is leaning towards idealism because nothing pretty much can be perfect, but you're stuck. You sabotage yourself. And other people, while you're stuck, feeling like tormenting yourself with your perfectionism and the thoughts in your head that can see how things can truly be, but it's all theoretical. The people outside, the people in your life, the people who love you, people who work with you, they're standing there, they're frustrated for you, they're frustrated with themselves because they don't know how to reach you, they don't know how to make it work with you, and sometimes they're done, and it it leads to intense feelings all around, I think. And I wanted to explain how I see extroverted intuition, and this can overlap with extrovert sensing too. I think that when you think this certain way, not everyone thinks this way, but when you think this way and then you're kind of compounding it with the layer or the label of giftedness, there's this extra motivation to learn, but it's not, you can't really direct it. It's organic, right? So when you have an extroverted sensate or an extroverted intuitive who's gifted and then wants to learn their own way, to me, I see it like this. So can you picture it like this? It's like, so you have discipline A, B, C, D, D, E, F, G, all the way through Z and 100. You have all these disciplines and topics. A more linear student, a more linear thinker could go from A, finish A, move to B, finish B, move to C, and continue that way. If you have someone who's just the way they focus, but they're still learning, they scoop it up in slices. So they're just taking slices of things. So take a slice of A, take a slice of B, take a slice of C, maybe more of C. And then you go back to A because that idea from C made you think about A. And then you keep on going. And it's like slicing layers of a foundation. And they're slowly building that foundation of knowledge. But, in conventional educational settings, in programs where you have to measure competence, or some ideas are being digested, and you're meeting these requirements, you have to measure it somehow. But these learners, they're taking a lifetime of accumulating knowledge because of the way they process information. So while you're slicing the information from all these layers and then building your own foundation of knowledge, it is the bigger picture because you're slowly taking stuff from all over the place. I kind of picture it like Tetris. When you have information and you're grabbing from here and there, it settles into a line, right? And then there's gaps. There's gaps in information because you're taking information from everywhere. But over time, when you take enough from multiple disciplines, because they're novel thinkers, they like to combine things into something different, and it makes them feel more competent in the future because they made it their own knowledge. They made it their own. And so when you have this information from all these disciplines or areas and media, different media, pretty soon the information will settle and consolidate into the brain because they did it at their own pace. They combined it when they were ready to combine it. And that's the thing I think that can frustrate a lot of educators, a lot of parents especially, a lot of people who don't think that way or are frustrated and very scared for the progress of their children or the children that they work with. And I had to take a while to think about this. Like, why is it like this? I don't know. I don't know why our education system is like this. I keep on making videos about education. I know that's so important to me. And one day, when I do find the time to get the credentials to work on education in a more I guess, pen and paper kind of way, I would love to do something about it. But until then, I'll still make these videos, ask people questions, and share my insights or observations for what I see when it comes to being a different kind of thinker, you know, just being different in general still, and how these social institutions don't cater to this type of thinking, and how it may damage or it can prolong your abilities to thrive. And when you have a gift as someone who thinks differently, I think it has to be nurtured in a different way. If you think differently, you have to be taught in a different way. So I just wanted to make this blurb about it because I still picture, those one or two kiddos in the classroom who just think differently. They're being labeled like they have ADHD or they're a behavioral problem, when in reality they're not inspired to learn, or they're not being taught in a way that caters to how they learn. And I get that educators are frustrated too because of lack of resources, lack of time. They're truly not being compensated for their worth, and I understand that too. So it is a big problem, but it's just something I wanted to talk about for the long term. I do want to talk about this for a really long time, and if you have any comments or observations that you want to share about your experiences as someone who's gifted, or someone you have in your life is gifted, please, please, please share. And as always, I'm looking for resources to add to my blog in terms of educational advocacy, just for solidarity for people who feel like they don't fit in and they think differently, but they just can't find the community. Please share. I love to just add more links to my page. And thank you again for the support. Look forward to dialoguing with you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.